On August 20, 2020, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán emphasized on the occasion of the 1,000-year anniversary of Hungarian statehood, on the 100th anniversary of the Trianon Treaty, which followed World War I and brought such a tragic fate for defeated Hungary, we can declare that the era of 100 years of Hungarian solitude at Trianon has come to an end. Orbán emphasized that the West, instead, it experiments with a godless cosmos, the rainbowization of families, migration, and open societies. He added, "We will protect our borders and leave our country to our own children instead of migrants." Regarding the statement that the government by Orbán leaves Hungary to her own children instead of migrants, it is worth to look back to the history of some important moment of the fertility awareness in Hungary. Nearly 300 years ago, then royal family of Habsburg, who ruled Hungary as well, issued a law which banned the free and unlimited use of the so-called community fields. As a result of the severely restrictive, anti-life and anti-family effect of this new law, fundamental changes first took place among the Serbian population living in the country. It was then that the so-called one and only child policy appeared among Serbian merchant families who feared for their wealth and put their survival instinct above material preservation. The bodies of the tragic victims were either hidden under a dunghill or fed to pigs. This then illegal family planning practice later found a wide following among the reformed Hungarians living in southern Hungary, and later also among all other denominations. By legalizing abortion on the Soviet model in 1956, the communist Hungarian government has now openly declared war on the fertility of its own people. From then on, with the aid of the state and the cooperation of the executioners of health professionals, the genocide within the mother's womb expanded to a never-experienced large-scale business. We must see today in the ice age of the demography by the civilization of death, that the unborn children who remain alone and defenseless against all these destructive intentions. This is how the solitude of the Hungarian nation, which dates back 300 years, is now threatening this country with total extinction. So-called political changes in Eastern Europe. Let us check the period of the so-called political changes in Eastern Europe, especially the year of 1992. This was the year when the first conservative government accepted the abortion law designed by the then liberal Fidesz party led by Orbán. This new law followed the previous Stalinist regulation and continued the killing of unborn children by abortion on demand. According to the National Statistical Bureau of Hungary, there have since 1956 been 6.5 million legal abortions in Hungary, a nation with a population below 10 million population. If the Hungarians living as ethnic minorities in neighboring countries and illegal abortions are included, the total number of Hungarian abortion victims rises to a staggering 8 million. Thus we see that abortion is a massive factor in the Ice Age, from which the Hungarians suffer, alongside all the other nations of Europe. The next promise of change came in 2011, when a new government formed by a Fidesz Christian Democrat coalition led by Viktor Orbán issued a new constitution. The so-called Easter Constitution of 2011 includes fine words about human dignity and protection of children before birth. Every human being shall have the right to life and human dignity. Embryonic and fetal life shall be subject to protection from the moment of conception. Unfortunately, the actual protective effect of this wording was too weak to deal with the existing abortion law. Despite the theoretical constitutional protection of the unborn, there are 25,000 abortions every year among the fewer than 10 million inhabitants of Hungary. The figures contrast very badly with Poland, whose population of 37 million sees just 1,000 legal abortions per annum. Mainstream Hungarian politicians continued to label the warnings of their own patriotic pro-lifers as unacceptable and extremist. It took the special shock of the arrival of several 100,000 refugees from Africa and Asia in the summer of 2015 to focus the minds of the political elite on the demographic problem. Nobody could deny that it was the time of arrival of other people of different heart who would replace this nation, according to the prophecy of poet Ferenc Károlyi still in 1838. The initial government response was to close the Hungarian-Serbian border. While the liberal media and pro-replacement immigration European Union howled with outrage, Hungarian pro-lifers began a campaign to popularize the parallel idea of surviving the demographic crisis by saving and welcoming unborn Hungarian children. The core of this argument is that the looming demographic transformation of Europe is not just about them, about immigration and the relatively high birth rate of certain non-European communities, including in Hungary and a number of other Central European nations, Gypsies. It is also about the catastrophically low birth rate of the indigenous Europeans. The situation in Hungary is in this regard fairly typical of many European nations, although not as bad as in the Mediterranean countries. If the birth rate of the years before 2015 is not radically changed, this country of fewer than 10 million will lose 40% of her population by 2060. Hungarians would be a long way down the road to vanishing altogether. Adaptation of an article by Dr. Imre Teglasy, Human Life International Hungary.